The thing you wanted for years is finally yours. The degree is on the wall, the promotion is in your title, the finish line is behind you. So why does it feel so hollow? This feeling of emptiness after a huge success isn't a sign that you're broken, it's a signal pointing to a profound mismatch between how your brain is wired and how you've been taught to live. And that signal will keep getting louder with every goal you achieve, until you understand what it's actually telling you. The first, most common explanation for this post-achievement void is chemical. You've probably heard that dopamine is the reward molecule, the chemical of pleasure. This is a subtle and damaging misunderstanding. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation. It's the chemical of pursuit. It floods your system when you are moving toward a goal, anticipating the reward, overcoming obstacles. It's the neurological engine of wanting. The pleasure you get from the actual achievement, the liking, is handled by a different system in the brain involving opioids and endocannabinoids. The wanting system is far more powerful than the liking system. Your brain produces much more dopamine during the chase than it produces pleasure chemicals at the moment of arrival. The entire time you were striving, your brain was bathed in the neurochemistry of anticipation. The moment you cross the finish line, that production stops. It slams shut. That sudden, jarring silence is what you feel as emptiness. The engine of your life just cut out. This explains the immediate crash, the feeling that the party is over the second it was supposed to begin. It's chemical withdrawal from the drug of almost there. But a simple dopamine drop doesn't account for the feeling of disorientation that can last for weeks or even months. It feels deeper than that. The feeling is because you didn't just win something, you lost something. You lost the future. For months, or maybe years, you've been living in a very specific, carefully constructed mental reality. A reality where happiness, relief, or validation was waiting for you at a single point in time. I'll finally be able to relax once I get this degree. Life will be good when I buy the house. I'll feel secure after I sell the company. This is known as the arrival fallacy. It's the belief that reaching a certain destination will bring you a lasting state of contentment. You weren't just working toward a goal. You were outsourcing your sense of well-being to a future version of yourself. That imagined future acts like a gravitational force pulling you through the difficulty of the present. It gives meaning to the late nights, the sacrifices, the relentless effort. It's a story you tell yourself every day. Then, you arrive. The destination you were navigating toward vanishes the moment you set foot on it. And with it, the entire narrative structure of your life collapses. The gravitational pull disappears. You're left floating in the present moment, a place you haven't really lived in for a very long time, and you discover that it's just a Tuesday. The laundry still needs to be done. The bills are still due. The fundamental problems of your life are still there. The emptiness you feel is the vacuum left by a powerful organizing principle that just ceased to exist. You're a cartographer whose entire map just went blank, but even losing your map of the future is a manageable problem. The real crisis is deeper. Every major goal you achieve forces you to kill a part of yourself. Think about who you were yesterday. You were the student trying to graduate. You were the founder trying to get funding. You were the marathon runner in training. These are identities. They are roles that dictate your behavior every single day. The identity of a student trying to graduate tells you to go to the library. It tells you to say no to social events. It gives you a clear script for your life. Your brain loves this. Identity is the most efficient behavioral guidance system there is. Every action you take that aligns with that identity casts a vote for being that type of person. Waking up at 5 in the morning to train isn't a struggle with willpower when your identity is marathon runner. It's just what a marathon runner does. It feels natural. Then you graduate, you get the funding, you cross the finish line. In an instant, that identity becomes obsolete. The story is over. The character you've been playing is written out of the script. The person you were, the one who lived and breathed that struggle, is now gone. The emptiness is a form of grief. You are mourning a version of yourself. All the systems, habits, and thought patterns that supported that identity are suddenly unemployed. Your brain is left with a void where clear, functioning self-concept used to be. You've prepared for years to achieve the goal, but you spent zero time preparing for the person you would have to become the day after. Critics often point out that you can just find a new goal, a new identity. And that's true, but that assumes the problem is the specific goal. The real problem is the entire framework. The very idea of a finish line is the flaw in the system. We structure our lives as a series of finite games. A finite game is played for the purpose of ending. It has a clear winner and loser, a beginning and an end. Getting a promotion is a finite game. Selling a company is a finite game. Running a marathon is a finite game. The problem is that life itself is an infinite game. An infinite game is played for the purpose of continuing the play. The goal is to keep playing, to perpetuate the game. Your health is an infinite game. Your relationships are an infinite game. Learning is an infinite game. When you apply a finite finish line mentality to the infinite game of your life, you create these recurring voids. You are constantly building ships designed only to reach a single port with no plans for what to do once you arrive. You become an expert at departures and arrivals and a novice at the actual voyage. The emptiness you feel is your brain's brutally honest feedback on this strategy. It's a warning system. The feeling is a profound, visceral message that your current operating system for life is based on a fundamental error, the belief that life is a checklist to be completed. The void is showing you that the reward for playing a finite game well is that the game simply ends, and you are left with nothing to play. So what is the alternative? The alternative is to shift from goals to systems, from destinations to directions. A goal is a target you hit once. Run a marathon. A system is a process you follow every day. Be a runner. The person who is trying to run a marathon stops training the day after the race. The person whose identity is a runner keeps running the week after, because that's who they are. The goal was just an excuse to build the identity. It was a catalyst for the system. This shifts the entire focus. The outcome is secondary. The evolution of your identity becomes the primary reward. You start choosing goals based on the kind of person they will force you to become during the pursuit. You ask a different question. Instead of asking, "What do I want to achieve?" you ask, "Who do I want to be?" Then you pick a project that demands you become that person. You want to be more disciplined? You don't try to be disciplined. You sign up for a project that is impossible to complete without discipline, like learning a musical instrument or a new language. The project is just the training ground for the identity. The goal is a temporary scaffolding you use to build a new, permanent part of yourself. Then, when the goal is achieved, you can discard the scaffolding. The building remains. There is no void because the thing you were really building was never the external achievement. It was you. This reframes the emptiness completely. The void is a compass. It is pointing away from the shallow satisfaction of ticking a box and toward the deep fulfillment of continuous growth. It's an invitation to stop playing finite games you are guaranteed to win and to start playing infinite games that are so vast and meaningful they can never be won, only continued. Think of the people you admire most. The artist who keeps painting long after they are famous. The scientist who keeps researching, driven by curiosity. The craftsperson who hones their skill for a lifetime. Their joy comes from the engagement with the process itself. The identity is the explorer, and there is always more to explore. They have built their lives around a game that never ends. The emptiness after achievement is the price of a life lived for the highlight reel. It's the hangover from a cheap dopamine high. The cure is to find a game you love playing so much that you hope it never ends. It's to build an identity so deeply rooted in a process that any single achievement is just another step on a path that has no final destination. This is why the most fulfilled people you know are often working on problems they can never fully solve. They are building businesses that are always evolving, creating families that are always growing, or mastering skills that have no ceiling. The void is a messenger. It's telling you that you were built for the journey. It's telling you to choose your mountain and to start climbing, and to fall in love with the climbing. The view from the top is freeing. The climb is forever.